What's up, troops? I hope you're all doing good. Thanks for watching these videos and following my page. Remember, you can always message me if you have any questions, comment below, and I'd love to talk to you if you have some stuff you want to discuss with me that you think I could help you with. My background's really been a mess when it comes to mental health and how I've been dealing with it. You know, I was raised, in a very chaotic household where there was a lot of yelling and a lot of kind of walking on eggshells and being scared, really. It changed the way I started breathing, believe it or not. So if you're in trauma, or if you're raised in trauma and you're constantly in a fight or flight or fearful, fight, flight, submit, freeze kind of stages, if these happen to you, you may have breathing issues where you breathe through your chest. That's kind of a trauma response, breathing through your chest. And when you learn to kind of relax and start breathing through your stomach, it's a game changer. My whole life I've been breathing through my chest. Cardio was really hard for me. Anything really related to, steady state, lung capacity, cardio, relaxation, even to the point of, getting a lot of chest pain, was all due from my chest breathing, and I didn't know this, I had to go find help and find out what's going on with me. And that wasn't even something that came up, right? So it's actually something that a lot of you know my wife. She works at Primary Care Network as an exercise specialist, a physiologist. She's got a great background in all sorts of things, a bunch of letters after her name. She's my role model, basically. But she's worked with a lot of patients in all different degrees, backgrounds, and things that they're dealing with. And one thing they help people, especially if you're under what they call, sorry, I'm losing myself here, but what they call pulmonary rehab. Sorry, I'm just getting used to talking again, and these are my first videos, so I'll get better, guys. Trust me, I'm gonna be on top of this stuff. But pulmonary rehab, dealing with breathing issues, breathing conditions. We have a lot of people out here in Fort McMurray working the mines. They have, they've ingested a bunch of bad chemicals or gases and stuff, and they have a hard time. It builds up over years. So that's what they actually teach them to breathe through their stomachs, And my therapist is another woman that really focuses on that as well with me. And that's where I really found out that all that trauma from my upbringing really affected that in me. And I had no idea. So kind of what I do is my steps is to try to lie down on my back. I'll put like something light on my belly button, right? And then I'll just practice breathing and lifting the Kleenex box, lifting the Kleenex box up and down off your belly button. So just raising and lowering and try to relax. It was incredible how hard it was to do. It's still hard for me. It's not new. It's still hard for me to figure this out because I'm so used to breathing through my chest and that trauma and keeping tight and focused, and something's going to happen, right? I know many of us out there are living like this. And if you are, don't worry. We could fix that. I just need you to find that about yourself and say, you know what? It's one of these things that we grew up with. I don't regret it. I just accept it. All the things that happened to me in the past, I learned from them. I forgive myself. I forgive myself. I forgive everybody that put me in those situations because I'm growing and I'm learning and I want to help others. But there was a time where I was resentful. There was a time where I couldn't stand that. That's how I grew up. That this kid, under all this tension and this kid with all these problems, and this kid that's always meant to feel like he can do no right. That wasn't right. That bothered me a lot for a long time. I had to forgive a lot of people. I had to forgive myself. I had to forgive a lot of stuff, to get over it. So yeah, just breathing, guys. Just focus on your breathing, relaxing your mind. If you find yourself quick to, basically defend yourself in conversations, think people are against you, take things the wrong way, chances are you have this a little bit, a little bit of that kind of, stay away from me, don't get within my window, don't, I got this barricade up, don't bother me, I got my chest all out, right? So it may be one of those things that you want to work with. Like I said, you can message me if you have any more questions about it. The thing is, it's not easy. Some of the things you're going to discover about yourself and the things that you're going to know to do to get better are going to be very uncomfortable. It's going to be uncovering some very uncomfortable truths. And those truths are going to be stuff that you don't want to know, but stuff deep down, you got to deal with, and you got to deal with it. It's tough. I started dealing with stuff when I was young, into my teenage years, and then beyond that in the military and training and stuff like that. I was dealing with all this stuff, and I just didn't know what was going on. And when I actually sat down and focused and said, you know what, I have to really, instead of just dealing with it, I got to understand it. I got to learn it. I got to learn it enough that I could explain it. If I could learn this enough myself that I could explain it to others, I know I got it. Helping others really helps me. I think that's normal for a lot of us. Helping others just is so powerful. It's so powerful. The gift of giving is so powerful, And I talked to some people, I got in an argument one time. I had a little conversation, not really an argument, but somebody was upset. He came up to me upset. You may know somebody like this. You may be like this. It doesn't really matter. I understand. But, you open the door for somebody. Say you're going into importance. You open the door for somebody. They walk past. You don't say nothing. And you get upset. Like, what's with them? They can't even say thank you. That, at the basic level, is showing you that you're doing something for somebody expecting something in return, and that's not healthy. If you do something for somebody and there's no negotiation made, you shouldn't expect anything in return. You should be doing it out of the kindness of your heart. You don't know what that person's going through, right? We don't know what they're going through. His father could have just passed away. His kid could be sick in the hospital. We don't know, right? To take on this anger or this negative feeling for something that you did to help somebody, you should feel good about that. Not what they did in response, right? Lending money to somebody. Expect it gone. Give back, great, amazing. But these are the kind of things. Just do it because you really want to do it. Don't do it to get, points or, all this stuff is going to eat you in the end. It's going to eat you up in the end, right? Because there's people that are going through shit that we can't even comprehend. People look at me, say, you've been through a lot of shit. There's people that have been through way more. There's people that have been affected way worse, right? And there's people that have been way worse that I'm learning from, that haven't been affected that much, that have got out of it quicker, Everybody's different. What traumatizes you is not going to traumatize the other person. And that's what I want us all to understand. We have to focus on ourselves. If you do something for somebody, don't expect anything in return, right? So these are some common things we're going to go over on this page. Iron Camp Fitness was built 2013 out in Fort McMurray. Now, 10 years into the business, I want to focus a lot on mental health, especially for men, but women too. But mental health, that's one of the biggest things that I feel that I see a lot of these guys going through, and they're having a really tough time, and they're losing themselves. What does losing yourself look like? You lose ambition. The things you used to love to do, you don't like to do. You're putting on weight, you're looking like shit, you feel like shit. That's what losing yourself does. And you may make excuses, and you most likely, especially if you're putting on a facade, you most likely bad talk yourself. Most likely negative self-talk. Oh, look at this belly, right? Oh, look at this belly. You most likely negative self-talk yourself. So if I were to tell you one thing to do today, practice your breathing. Okay, two things. If I were to tell you 2 things to do today, practice your breathing through your stomach. If you find that you're breathing a lot through your chest, if you've had a lot of trauma in your life, you probably breathe through your chest a lot. But number two is I want you to focus on making yourself better in the way that you're not getting bothered by things. You're not bad talking yourself. What did I say? You're not negative self-talking. You know what I mean? and you're becoming the better version.